Okay, thanks for joining today, everyone. Welcome to today's information session for the Master of Science in Healthcare Leadership here at Brown University, a program jointly offered between the School of Professional Studies and the School of Public Health here at Brown. Today's session is going to focus on student life and professional development services that are offered here at Brown that students receive as being part of the Brown community. We asked today for today's webinar that you use the Q&A function on your Zoom menu bar so that you can enter questions at any point during the session so that you don't forget them as you're going along, and then you were able to answer them all towards the end of the session. So thanks for joining today, and let's use that Q&A function. Today's agenda is going to be, I'm going to give you a quick overview of the MHL program itself. We're going to talk about the professional development services offered by our career services team, student life activities and resources available to you as a student at Brown, and wrap up with a Q&A session. So I'm joined today by a number of colleagues who we will introduce along the way. And they, as you can see, we have just a wide range of folks who support students throughout their journey here at Brown. My name is Sandi Ferretti, and I'm the Program Director for the Master of Science in Healthcare Leadership. So that is one avenue of ongoing support as you are part of the MHL program. And we'll introduce folks as we go along. So let's quickly spend a few minutes on the MHL program itself. In case you haven't joined one of our other information sessions, we have a number of information sessions that go into a lot more depth about the details of the program. We're going to talk about a snapshot, the curriculum, and a quick overview of our faculty. So this program is really designed to combine the best of healthcare content knowledge, business knowledge and skills, and leadership development skills so that we can really help leaders evolve and become strategic decision makers that can drive value and positive change in healthcare, in their organizations, and broadly in the healthcare community. The program is 8.5 credits. That's the way Brown defines credits, and occurs over 3 continuous semesters or terms, as Brown calls them, and is comprised of these courses. So I'm going to quickly give you a little bit of those. In the fall and spring term, we have some full credit courses that form the foundation of the curriculum. Include things like healthcare policy, finance, strategic planning, leadership, and workforce development. And that leadership course really focuses on all of the things that that folks do as leaders of teams and leading in organizations. We have a series of half-credit courses that provide content, curriculum that support all of the other those core topics in healthcare. So we have healthcare marketing, health economics, health law, quality improvement, and the learning organization. Those all happen in the summer term currently. And then we have these 2 courses around data technology and innovation. And they have a white background because they are fully online courses. So we have health technology data and analysis, and that's really about the technology skills and the analytics skills required in today's healthcare marketplace, and then really spend some time focusing on digital health and innovation in this course, along with sort of all the recent trends in AI. That is all supported by the Critical Challenge Project, which is the capstone project required for the program, and it takes place in all 3 terms of the program. And finally, we have leadership and professional development, and that is a course that also takes place in all 3 terms. We have sort of A, B, and C sections of the course, and that is where you work on individual professional development skills, practice, experiential learning, those types of activities that really promote your own personal leadership development. All of this is supported by our world-class faculty. We have people like Scott Rivkees, who's our academic director. And the thing to emphasize about these folks is that they are primarily practitioners. They certainly participate in academic endeavors in a number of different ways, either at school public health or in other avenues, but are also practitioners in the field. So if you take a look at this third one from the left here, that's Alex Glazier. She is our health law professor, but she's also the CEO of the New England Organ Donation Network. So folks who teach in the program are really practitioners in addition to being teaching in this area, and students find that that's really helpful in terms of bringing that real world context into the classroom. So in summary, the program is an executive format. It's an accelerated one-year program. There are 3 residential sessions that meet in Providence on Brown's campus. You get to meet your classmates and faculty in person while you're here for that residential session, and the remainder of the coursework is delivered online. We do that so that students get a chance to really interact in depth with faculty as well as your fellow students, so that when you do go to the online environment, it's a really rich environment because you've met these folks and you have a chance to really get to know them. You get to participate in all of the traditions at Brown, like the one pictured here, which is the Van Wickle Gates, which is involved in both your arrival at Brown and as a major portion of the commencement traditions here at graduation. So, and in relation to that, and particular this information session, you're really going to hear about all the ways that our students are really part of the Brown community. The degree is 1 year, and you have 2 options for enrollment, either May to May or September to September. So that gives you a little bit of an overview about the program. Happy to answer any further questions at the end, as well as provide folks recordings of our other information sessions, or join us at another information session to hear more details about the program itself. And this gives you a sort of a different picture representation of how those in-residence sessions work. They're at the beginning of each term before you go into the online environment. All right, and now I'm going to turn this over to my colleague, Caitlin Giannetti, who is going to talk about professional development services here at Brown.
Thanks, Sandy. Hi, everyone. My name is Caitlin Giannetti. I'm a career counselor in the Career Services Office here at Brown. I also want to quickly shout out my colleague, Komal Shah, who unfortunately can't be with us today. She's out of the office, but she is our Associate Director for Career Services, and she'll be your go-to contact for this program. So we can go to the next slide, Sandy. So we do a lot with career services and supporting our professional programs here at Brown. We offer very specialized career services through individualized support appointments. These are 30-minute virtual appointments, either in person or virtual, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 6 p.m. We, understand you're busy professionals, so we want to, accommodate to those schedules. So we do offer some evening hours on Thursdays. And again, Komal would be your go-to person. So you'd be meeting with Komal for a variety of different things, whether that be career advising, where she'll sit down with you. She really will personalize and customize to your career needs or your wants. She'll go over anything such as job search strategies, personal branding, if you're making a career change, salary, job offer negotiations, thinking about promotion or growth, and really anything that you're looking to explore in your career. We also offer resume and cover letter reviews. So again, we'll sit down one-on-one, look at formatting, bullet points, the content, your skills, your experience, how you want to position yourself for the jobs that you might be looking to apply to. If you're looking for a specific job, we can really help you tailor your resume to that position. We also offer LinkedIn profile reviews, not only just reviewing your profile and make sure you're optimizing the site and including, again, the position on there that you want to including your brand or how you want to position yourself professionally, but we'll also help you understand how to use the site effectively, whether that's for networking, job search, creating a strong personal and impactful brand. And then in addition to that, we offer mock interview appointments. So these are 15-minute appointments. We will, as long as you have an upcoming interview and you give us the job description, we'll tailor questions specifically to that job and help you craft strong, impactful responses to typical questions for that position. And then, of course, provide feedback. And then in addition to that, we also offer virtual workshops in the summer, fall, and spring, really year round. And I'm going to show you a few examples of those and what we offer in a couple slides. But we can go to the next slide, Sandy. So we offer a lot in addition to our workshops and our appointments. You might see Komal in your classroom during your residential sessions. She goes over a lot of different topics that are really catered to the needs of the cohort. So that might be on resumes, it might be on personal brands, but I know she works very closely with Sandy to make sure that she's catering to the needs of that specific cohort and what you are looking to do with your career. We also have a master's career website, and that offers a wide range of tools and resources for all of our master's students here at Brown. This includes blogs on different career skills or different types of employers. It might be external resources we're pulling in, different job boards, job simulations, and a lot more. We try to organize these resources by different career pathways and industries, as well as maybe affinities or identities, and also essential career skills. But we do have a specific section on our website built out for our professional programs here at Brown, and that is including multiple resources that are tailored to professionals who are looking or searching for more mid-senior and leadership positions. Handshake is kind of that one-stop shop for all career-related things here at Brown. But for you specifically, Handshake would be where you're going to schedule appointments with Komal, as well as researching and exploring a diverse and extensive list of employers. So if you just want to learn a little bit more about a specific employer, you could always look them up on Handshake and kind of view their profile, who they are, potential jobs they have available, but more for that exploration phase. Brown Connect Plus is a newer platform that we launched in the past couple of years, and it's our alumni platform available for all Brown students and alumni. And it allows you to connect with alumni worldwide across various industries. You can find mentors, search for jobs, explore career services and alumni events here at Brown. And we also recently, this past semester, launched our first community for our professional programs here at Brown, where you can specifically network with not only alumni from the MHL program, but also our other professional programs at Brown. So it's a really new creative resource that we've tailored just for our professional programs. Another great new resource that we just launched this past year is our alumni mentor circles. And we've heard really great feedback and success from this program, but it connects professional and executive students with alumni from Brown School of Professional Studies. So they're more small group topic-driven conversations. Alumni are going to share insights from their career journeys, offer guidance on leadership, industry trends, skill building, career transitions, personal growth, a variety of different topics. And I will show you a couple examples of some of our current and past alumni mentor circles so you can get a sense of what those topics look like. And then lastly, we do have, this isn't really career specific, so you might see some of our information in this newsletter, but it is a newsletter that the School of Professional Studies sends out on a quarterly basis. And you can kind of just stay ahead with insights, updates from our school, gain access to news, upcoming programs, thought leadership, discussion, professional development, and much more. And then Sandy, you can go to the next slide. So this is just a kind of small, I'm not going to say this is our extensive list of our workshops, but over the past year, these are some of our workshops that we've hosted. And you can see it ranges anywhere from advanced interviewing techniques, so really getting into the nitty and gritty structure of how to structure a strong, impactful response to common interview questions, all the way to inside the applicant tracking system and how to create that modern resume to not really beat the system, but to kind of match up as best as possible with the system and the job you're applying for, all the way to our government series where we're really focusing on specific job search strategies, resumes for government roles, personal branding, and LinkedIn. So we offer a wide variety of different workshops and topics that are very catered to master's students here at Brown. And then we can go to the next slide. And then these are just a couple, just three out of many different mentor circles we've hosted over the past couple semesters. And you can see it's a variety of different topics, everywhere from navigating executive leadership while Black in America, all the way to AI, and how that's changing work and what's happening next. And you can see that they've been hosted by alumni from the MHL program. They've been hosted from alumni from our other executive programs, and as an MHL student, you'd be open to attend any of these mentor circles and be able to begin to not only grow professionally, but network with other alumni and students from the professional programs here at Brown. So it's a really cool new initiative. Have great success so far and really good feedback. And Amanda, who's our employer and alumni relations team member, has done an amazing job growing this program so far. And then I'll hand that back to Sandy.
All right. Thanks so much, Caitlin. Really so much happening and going on. You could spend lots more slides on all of that. So I think next up is my colleague, Carmen Rowe.
Hello, I'm Carmen Rowe. I work as the program coordinator on the student affairs team. I'm just going to talk briefly about some of our events that are open to Brown students that you would be open to as a student. So we have first, there are events specifically for master's students, and I'm going to put this calendar in the chat. So if you look at this master's programs calendar specifically, you can find all of the events that are open and designed specifically for master's students. These do include the career services workshops that Caitlin just talked about, but they also include some of our social events that are aimed at community building for our master's students. And these events occur in a range of modalities. So some of them are in person. We're trying to do more that are hybrid, and we have some all virtual events as well. So just this month, as an example, we have an in-person rock climbing event happening. We have a hybrid study event for students that they can access either in person or online, and we will have a virtual webinar session for students on repaying student loans. So that's just an example of sort of the range of different types of student programming that we offer our master's students specifically. Some of our master's specific programming is offered in collaboration with other offices. So for example, we had a breakfast event about a month ago that was done with the graduate school. So that combined students from the graduate school and master's students. I know in-person events may not be as relevant, but if they happen to coincide with a residential session, it's a great way to get involved. And if you happen to be local to the area, also feel free to stop by any of our in-person events. Beyond that, Brown in general has a lot of great lectures, events of all kinds. And I'm going to put our events at Brown calendar into the chat as well. There's a search bar on the side. So if you're really looking for hybrid and virtual events specifically, you can search virtual, and that will pull up a list of events happening across the university that have virtual access. So any questions about events, feel free to raise them in the Q&A at the end. But other than that, I think I'll turn it over to the next slide.
All right, so I think next is my colleague Joel to talk about some additional resources.
Thanks, Sandy, and thanks to all of you who have joined us today. I'm Joel Revel. I'm the Deputy Dean for Academic and Student Affairs, and I oversee all of our professional programs. So I'm also a graduate of one of them. I received my Executive MBA from our EMBA program a couple of years ago. But before that, I was a historian and a professor of history, and so I always get really excited about libraries. One of the great things about being a student at Brown and being an alum at Brown is that you're getting access to world-class resources of all sorts. And I'm really glad that Carmen ended by talking about the kinds of cultural and intellectual events that happen on campus and through campus, many of which are available virtually. So even if you're not here, you have access to plays, music, lectures, scientific discussions, panels, all kinds of stuff all the time. Like every day, there are amazing things happening at Brown that you would have access to. Our libraries, there are something like 11 libraries at Brown. That's a guess, but it's in that rough range. The main one shown here is the Rockefeller Library, which is increasingly stocked with virtual or online resources. Almost all the books that I've seen purchased recently have been virtual. There are a ton of journals, databases, data sets, et cetera, all of which are available to you as a student from wherever you are. In fact, I taught last semester, and every single item that I used for my class was available virtually. So this is really a fantastic resource wherever you are, whether you're in Providence or not. And then you also, this is sort of a little bonus, not really related to MHL, but I enjoy it. There are a number of newspapers and journals that you can get access to for free as a student by logging in through the library. So I just learned that I get access to Wall Street Journal, which I've started adding to my free New Yorker and free Economist subscriptions every morning. Next slide, please. Thank you. Somewhat relatedly, there are a lot of academic and sort of para-academic resources available to you as a Brown student. I know for some of you, some of this stuff will not be necessary. For others of you, it might be a little daunting to be back in the classroom for the first time in 10, 20 years. It was for me. I was one of the older students in my cohort, and I was used to being the professor, which is to say the self-described expert on everything that we were talking about. And all of a sudden, I was being judged, I was being assessed, and I was having to think about how I was presenting as a student. So there are folks who can help you with that. The Sheridan Center for Teaching and Learning is has a number of different functions, but they include writing center consultants, English language supports if you're not first a primary English speaker and you're worried about writing, individual supports. There's some level of quantitative or math help, I believe, through the Sheridan Center, essentially all kinds of general purpose tutoring. They also work with students and faculty on appropriate AI use inside and outside the classroom. They're here to support your teaching and learning journey. And then I'll stick with sort of that type of service first, which is Brown's Office of Information Technology, runs all of our computers, software systems, et cetera, and is here to help you. And then the Graduate Studies Handbook is worth looking at, as well as the Academic Handbook on the Academic Code, both of which sort of govern your experience as graduate students, although I wouldn't worry about those until you enroll. And I will pass it off now to my colleague, I think, Janae.
I just wanted to highlight one thing about being a Brown student is that you have free access to a whole range of software capabilities, and that's really beneficial in terms of EndNote or Zotero or things like that that are Microsoft Word, things like that that really help advance your support your your education. All right, and we'll hand it over to Janae.
Thanks, Sandy. So my name is Janae Victoria, and I serve as the Assistant Dean of Student Affairs for our master's students. And as Carmen mentioned, there are a number of resources, and many of those include wellness resources, which is my wheelhouse. So as a graduate student, as a professional graduate student, we understand that being a student is one of many identities that you may hold, and so you're balancing a lot. And with that, we want to make sure that you're also able to prioritize your wellness as you go through this journey. Um, while you may be on campus at various points of the year, I can assure you, you will have lots to do while you are in residence. But when you do go back home, we want to make sure that you do have resources available to you as well. Some of those including teletherapy. All of our students, whether they are residential or virtual, will have access to 12 therapy sessions annually through Timely Care. And there is a whole spreadsheet on our counseling services page that will walk you through how to set up your account. Again, for many of you who are returning to the classroom, be it 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 years later, we do have accessibility services available as well, and they are amazing. If there's anything that you may need to ensure you are bringing your best self and be able to perform at your highest academically, we can connect you with their team to establish those accommodations that you may need. And additionally, we have a couple of resources. One of my sayings that our team is familiar with is that life happens, and that's okay. So again, you are not just a student, you may be, a parent, a family member, a friend, and things may happen that we did not anticipate happening, but we have resources to make sure you're able to get through those and again, get back to focusing on your academics, which include some small funding opportunities, as well as a host of online resources or meeting with myself to explore what resources might be most impactful for you during that time of hardship. We can go to the next slide. Additionally, there are some opportunities for you if you are specifically a parent or caregiver. So, depending on your circumstance, you may be eligible to apply for the Graduate Student Childcare Subsidy, which gives students up to $5,000 a year to help you with childcare. And as a student, whether again you're physically here or not, you are 100% entitled to apply. Additionally, in terms of building community, we do have the Brown graduate student parent community where you can meet with your peers and talk through different resources that may be helpful. And again, just establish that community with folks who are going through a similar process as yourselves, being full-time students, part-time students, but also managing the role of parent. Additionally, we have a couple of other resources listed here for an opportunity to connect with our, I'm sorry, with our graduate student caregivers, as well as exploring childcare options. And so with that, I'm going to pass it back to Sandy.
All right. Thank you, all of you, for the tremendous reflections on the services that we provide here and the way that Brown draws our students into community and really provide a lot of amazing resources, activities, ways that you want to be engaged here with the Brown community. So we're going to stop our slides there and ask all of you what questions you have about what you've heard. We threw a lot of stuff at you in terms of the resources available, and I want to make sure we have some time for Q&A. So Emma will be joining us, my colleague Emma. So she's been monitoring that Q&A section and can help us navigate the questions.
Yes, so just a reminder to submit any questions you may have to the Q&A box. And I want to touch on a couple of questions submitted in advance to the session first. Um, can you touch on, Sandy, what the length of the program is?
Sure, this is a one-year program, so three semesters in a row. So either summer, fall, spring, or fall, spring, summer, and then the folks who start in the summer uh, have that 1 year to graduation. They graduate at our main commencement ceremony that May. Our fall intake students would then receive their diplomas in October and be invited to commencement ceremonies the following May. But they do receive their physical diploma when they complete the program.
Thank you. Another question here. Is there any pre-prep material needed for attending?
So for every, there's not sort of academic requirements in terms of, boy, you should have had an accounting class or something like that we're looking for. So no academic pre-requirements for the program other than your bachelor's degree and work experience. But the folks are encouraged to, there is pre-work assigned by the courses that are going to be happening during that semester. And so there's ways for you to prepare for class ahead of time so that when you get to that residential session, you're prepared to engage fully in the conversations in the classroom. You might think of it as a flipped classroom in the sense that you prepare outside the classroom, and that way we can really engage in terrific discussions and activities and problem solving in the classroom.
Thank you. Is there financial assistance available?
Financial assistance in the sense of there are some scholarships available, and those are awarded at the time of admission to the program. And but we have a very supportive and active student financial services area, and we have actually a special information session about those financial resources and how to fund your education at Brown. And so they are very happy to work one-on-one with folks once the FAFSA has been submitted to help you understand what you qualify for.
Thank you. The next question in here, more of a personal question, but how can an applicant address or contextualize an undergraduate GPA that was maybe lower and earned many years ago due to personal responsibility, while demonstrating the professional growth and leadership experience that has since led to a C-suite role in healthcare?
I
Julie,
love that this person has already done so in the question, but Sandy, please, why don't you start?
No, I was going to say, I think you're the expert here on answering that one.
Sure. So Brown's admissions are holistic, meaning that we do look at undergraduate GPA, but we also, particularly for professional programs, look at the career development of the course of somebody's, the last 10, 15 years. And that ultimately is more important. So just so you know kind of how the sausage is made or like how this stuff works under the hood, there is an admissions committee that recommends admission for candidates. For somebody who has a low GPA, the only difference is normally that would come to me as a dean to review. And the way that I review those is I tend to look at what was going on then and what have you done since then. And frankly, if you've made it to C-suite in the healthcare industry, that seems way more interesting and relevant to me than grades that you earned 20 years ago.
Excellent. I don't think I have anything to add to that.
Thank you. There's another question in here. What is the average time commitment for classwork in a typical week?
So during the online periods of the courses, it's 20 to 24 hours a week of effort. And I would emphasize that the majority of that online work is asynchronous. There are synchronous opportunities in optional office hours, those which are always recorded so you can view them later. But primarily you get to schedule your time. So if you're a person who needs to do the vast majority of the work on the weekends, you can do it that way. If you knock off a little bit every night when you're home from work, depending on your other family obligations, that you can schedule the time. So we've had folks who are working night shifts in emergency departments. We've had trauma surgeons who are on call. A whole wide variety of, and the typical more executive 60 to 80 hours a week. So really trying to find times to fit that in. But in general, it's about 20 to 24 hours a week.
Thank you. The next question in here is, what does it mean to be a hybrid student as opposed to an all online or an all in person?
So I could take that one. So hybrid students, what that really allows you is to develop closer personal relationships with the students that you're going to engage with in the online space. So when you are here in our residential sessions, you are put into small group teams. And then if there is any small group activities in the online coursework, you're working with that same small group. And so you really get to do the classwork. I mentioned a flipped classroom, so you're engaging with that small group team throughout your time here. And we do a lot of other activities to network and allow students to socialize and engage while they're here. So, and what I've had students tell me is that they really value that, because when they go to the online space and they're writing a discussion post or responding in a group setting to another student's posts, you have a sense of knowing who you are talking to. That I remember Joe, and he's he has a great sense of humor, so I can kind of josh him about something, or all of those types of things, that you really feel like you have a more personal relationship. And that's true of not only your peer students, but also the faculty. By spending time on campus, you get to know the faculty that you are engaged with in the classroom before engaging in that online space. So you really have that opportunity to get to know them and them to get to know you before being in the fully online space.
Thank you. The next question that just came in, are there a lot of MHA degree holders who apply for MHL? If they do, what might be the reason?
Primarily, I would say that's less frequent, but there are, we've had folks who have health administration undergraduate degrees that then come to our program instead of an MHA. Um, uh, the folks who have MHAs that decide to come to our program are really looking for the leadership lens that we apply to all of the healthcare content. So not just sort of, this is what Medicare and Medicaid are, but how do leaders have to make decisions about Medicare and Medicaid, and what are the policy ramifications of decisions that folks make? So, we take a little bit different lens, and that's what incentivizes students that already hold an MHA to come to the program for.
Thank you. Um, and another question in here. What is the acceptance process, and what levels of experience do students typically have coming into the program?
So we have a wide range of experience that students have, ranging from that minimum of 2 years of work experience in some sort of leadership role, all the way to senior executives. And I would express that we are seeking a really diverse cohort, and diverse across any way that you would like to slice diversity. So it could be diversity in age, diversity in professional settings. So we have people in pharma, we have people in consulting, we have people in hospitals. So we're really looking for all those types of ways that folks can present different perspectives in the classroom. We really think that bringing all those different perspectives to the classroom is what really makes for an enriching conversation in the classroom.
Thank you. And it looks like that was our last question.
Terrific. I want to say thank you to all my colleagues who've joined us today. If you have other questions, Emma just put an email address, ourprofessional@brown.edu, with any other questions that may have come up, or if there are other information sessions that you would like to have the recordings or make sure get on your calendar. We have those regularly, so we would be pleased to have you join us. I have appointments with folks who are interested in talking more about the program, so happy to engage in those activities. So thank you all so much for joining today, and we look forward to seeing your applications. We are accepting applications. I think one point that did come up was how our applications reviewed, and that we review applications on a rolling basis. So that process, once an application is complete, takes 1 to 2 weeks from the point of interview to getting a decision. So that happens routinely throughout the summer. The application deadline for fall is June 1st. So we're looking for, or June 15th. We extended it a little bit longer this year. So we're looking forward to seeing all of your applications in our inbox. Thank you, everyone, for joining today.